Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, that's the ticket right there. I think I drink too much coffee. Said no one ever. Now check these out. These are my new Canadian, Peter McKinnon Canadian James Coffee Camp Enamel Maple Leaf mugs. That's a long title. They're super awesome. They're made out of like enamel. They look great for Instagram bangers and stuff like that. So yeah, thought I'd point that out. Link down below. Cheers. Ooh, what are we doing? I easily get distracted. He's fully charged yet? Notes. There is an old man that keeps ripping down the street on a quad. No helmet, just straight savage. Kind of starting to irritate me. Okay, we should start this video. You see what What's up, everybody? Peter McKinnon here, and welcome back to another video. It's Monday. We're gonna hit the ground running with something that I love to do in photos sparingly, is getting rid of people, getting rid of things, getting rid of objects, mostly people and or tourists, depending on the places that you visit. Sometimes you can have a dope shot. It looks so great. You're like, if only like those 9 people at the very end there were just gone. Like, how do I get rid of them fast where I'm not gonna be sitting here for 16 hours? I don't really know. I've never sat here for 16 hours, by the way. I don't know where I came up with that number. I don't want to be sitting here for the next like 45 minutes trying to erase somebody or erase a car or I would prefer to have them gone because the photo would just look better without them. There's 2 schools of thought here. There's some people that think like, no, you shouldn't digitally remove or add or tweak photos that much at all. Like, that's not something you should do as a photographer. Then there are the people who are like, nah, like I'll do whatever I want, and like the end result is my art anyway. So if I want it to look this way, then that's how I'm gonna do it. And I kind of lean towards that side. Again, I mean, this is art, right? It's subjective, and however you feel that you wanna edit your photos, the end result, as long as you are happy, is the right result. So today we're gonna teach you guys that. I'm gonna teach you how to get rid of people in photos. It's very, very easy. It's not as hard as you think. I think the stigma that comes around like using Photoshop or something like that to remove people from a photo is a very daunting, like, oh, I'll just wait here for another 40 minutes and hopefully they move out of the way. But sometimes you gotta keep going when you're traveling. You wanna snap that picture. If there's 10 people in the photo, it would just look better with them out. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. I remember one of the first times I removed 30 people from a photo. I was so pumped. It took me so long to do, but I think it was a shot from the Bahamas, and I had like a really nice like sandbar that just like went off into infinity, and it looked so good. This guy's driving by again. Like, find a field or a forest or something, man. What are you doing? I remember when I finally finished the photo, I was just like super excited because to me, it just looked way better. I love taking landscape photos, and sometimes you might have the most epic landscape in front of you, but like 3 or 4 people might just be also trying to get that same photo. Nothing wrong with that, but they happen to be in your frame and you want that frame specifically. So in that instance, I have no problem removing people like that from a shot. So method number 1 would be like, obviously, to just wait around. Like, if you don't want to use any programs, you don't want to dive in to the nitty gritty of actually digitally removing someone, you could just wait wherever you are until no one's in the way. I've even asked people to politely move, like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, I'm just trying to get like one nice, beautiful shot, just like a crisp vista of this waterfall here. Do you mind like taking like 20 steps back just so I can shoot this? Like, maybe we should just all shoot at the same time from this same like line so none of us are in anyone's photos. And a lot of the time, if you're just nice to people, and just open up a conversation and a dialogue with other like-minded individuals who are also trying to get nice shots, maybe even help them, people are gonna move out of the way for you. Like, if you walk up and say, hey, like, get out of the way, get out of, like, no, I'm trying to, can you? No one's gonna move for you. Like, that's, come on, man. Just be nice to people. It'll solve like more than half your issues in life. I digress. That's kind of step 1. Just talking with people, making friends with the other photographers there, asking them politely to move is sometimes the best way to get that shot without anybody in it. Step 2 is using a tripod and doing a long exposure. If you have your camera on a tripod and that shutter is open, people moving in and out of that frame aren't going to show up if the shutter speed is long enough. I remember once I was in Las Vegas. I flew to Las Vegas myself just to take photos for the weekend. I think I just got the original 5D camera and I was so amped to use it, and I was like, I'm going to Vegas, I'm just gonna shoot for 2 days by myself, get a hotel, and just like run around the city. And that's all I did, and it was amazing. I remember standing in the Mirage with my tripod, like camera on it, doing a long exposure of like the Revolution sign that was like the Beatles show back, I don't even know, probably like 2009 this probably would have been. Wow, that was 9 years ago? 9 years ago. Whew. People were walking through the casino back and forth. Some people were even stopping in front of the camera like, whoa, what's up? This is so funny. And I was like, this is a 35, 40 second long exposure. You're not gonna be in it. And when that photo finally finished, there was nobody in frame. It looked like that casino was empty just because that shutter was open for 40 seconds. So people walking through it don't just get registered. Now, if they'd stopped for like 25 seconds to take a photo of the same thing, that may have burned itself into the image. But because people were just passing through, I had no problem. So method 2 would be using a long exposure on a tripod just in case there's movement in front of the landscape or whatever it is that you're shooting and you want that to be gone. Long exposure would probably do that for you. Now, the third option would be using Photoshop and digitally removing those people after the fact. Okay, once you fire up Photoshop, there are one of two ways to do it with my technique, using either the clone stamp or the content aware fill. Now, content aware fill can pretty much get rid of anything in photos within reason, but with every update of Photoshop, it becomes more and more scary and magical. And it's like, you know, David Copperfield is living inside my iMac, the spirit of Houdini inside. Magic jokes. Okay, so we've got this nice photo here of this waterfall. Now, particularly, I think it looks better with Maddie in it. This wasn't an accident. He didn't happen to run in and be like, I took it with him specifically standing there. But let's just say we wanted to get rid of it because we wanted an iPhone background and we didn't want good old Maddie in the photo. So there's a few ways we could go about it. Number 1, hit S on your keyboard. That brings up the clone stamp. Then you can use the brackets to make it bigger or smaller. So for example, when you hold Option down, you'll notice a target pops up. Now when you click with that target, that then copies that area. So if we move our mouse over, like over his face, it's copied that area over his face. So now if we click, we've clone stamped it there. We click again. Click again. You'll notice if you click and hold it down, you see that little target to the right. That's actually where it's taking it from. So if we were to move more and more right, you'll notice because that target is now in the dark area of the water's getting darker. If we wanted to clone stamp him out entirely, we could just click and start playing around with it until it looked pretty good. Now, my issue with clone stamping, I'm gonna fix this here, is that sometimes you can tell it's clone stamped if you clone stamp a lot. Like if it's a small pop can, or maybe just a tiny little logo, or a rock, or a piece of garbage, or a weird twig, it's usually fine. If you're clone stamping out multiple people out of a photo that are like very prominent in that photo, sometimes it can look bad unless you're a wizard. I'm not a wizard, so I don't always do this, but like for example, when we get to the edge of the water here, I would click on the very edge of the water so that it's clone stamping the edge. Same thing, go back and forth until he was totally gone. And same thing with the edge of the water, clone stamp that way, and then we just maybe get rid of the rocks in a few different spots, and he's pretty much gone at this point. Sorry, buddy. If you looked at that photo quick, you might not actually know anyone was in it, but if you further inspected it, you might be like, I think someone was clone stamped out of this. Now, how do we do that super fast? Because that took, even with explaining, about a minute's time. How do we do that in 5 seconds? That's where we would use content aware fill. Instead of hitting S on our keyboard, we're gonna hit L. That's gonna bring up the lasso, the lasso, the lasso. All we're gonna do is draw an outline around Maddie. Try to do it as clean and tidy as you can. I'm gonna do this a little fast just for explanation purposes, but we're gonna go all the way around him, all the way. Connect that right there. Now hit Shift Delete. That brings up content aware fill, and then hit OK. Gone. Command D to get rid of it. You don't gotta clone stamp anything. Like, it almost always does a perfect job, but it's important to still inspect the area after the case. Cause, for instance, check out the ground here. That looks a little weird, but that's where we would clean up the content aware fill with the clone stamp. So now we hit S on our keyboard, bring those brackets down to make it a little smaller, and this is where we could clean up that weird kind of soft, odd leftover remains that it left. So after that content aware fill, just going back in with the clone stamp, just kind of clean up those edges. Once you're done and finished, zoom out, it should look something like this. And to me, like, you would never know someone was in that photo front and center. Now that is one of the more difficult scenarios when you're removing people from photos. The easier stuff is something like this. We've got lots of tourists because it's a super awesome area. They're all kind of gathered in chunks, taking photos of that waterfall, which sometimes makes it easier, but you could get rid of these people in 30 seconds as well using content aware fill. Again, the same thing. Hit L on your keyboard, draw around these guys just hanging out by the river, up to no good. Started making, hit enter, done and we clean up after the fact. Let's get rid of this lone walker over here, just strayed from the group. Shift delete, enter, peace, have a good one. I bet we could even do this whole group of people at the same time and then clean that up with the stamp. So we will just, and like, look, I'm not even really putting much effort into trying to make this lasso very, very accurate. I'm just loosely tracing around this group of people. We'll go here. Once that's selected, shift delete, enter, peace out. Now this is where we would fix them with the clone stamp, right? So we bring that bracket down. We would pick this spot right here, copy it to there, copy it to there, copy it to there. And that's all you're doing right across. Remember, this is a small background detail of your photo. Get that river water back in there a little bit. Fix this spot, which looked a little jank. Fix that spot right there. Boom. And there you go. Now that whole group of people from the left, that was like 8 or 9 people, gone. You could do the same thing for this railing. It doesn't just have to be people. If we were to just outline the railing like so, we'll do a super fast job just right to here. And we'll come right back around. Like this is, this is so fast. Shift delete, hit OK. And next thing you know, that railing's pretty much gone. Clean it up with the clone stamp. Maybe fix that blown out sky using this tutorial. Get rid of the rest of the people, throw a couple presets on there, edit that in Lightroom, and then after the fact, you are left with a photo like this. That looks much better to me than the original, but ooh, that just gets me so excited. So one of the most fun aspects of this as well is digging back through those archives that you thought were no good because they were filled with people or things that you didn't know how to get rid of at the time. So have fun digging, like hunt around, get those photos that you thought were no good, throw them into Photoshop, clean them up a little bit, and you'd be surprised what you can come up with. Anything in life, specifically photos and editing and taking shots, the more you shoot, the more you go out and photograph things, the more you edit, the more you practice in Photoshop, in Lightroom, practice lighting, studio, anything like that, the more you do it, repetition, the better you are going to be. So if this is difficult for you, that's okay. It's totally normal. It was difficult for me too, but hopefully that tutorial was easy enough for you to follow, and I hope that you get something out of it. And let's just say those Instagram photos are gonna be looking a lot crisper. Pumped to see them. So thank you for watching. Hit that like button if you like this video. Smash it if that's something that you're into, 2018 style. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you guys. Oh, tomorrow's Tuesday, so I'll see you tomorrow. What? I think I need to start looking for an office. Yeah. I got too much stuff. Too much stuff, too many ideas. I need some help. I think I need an office. Yeah. I'm gonna go look for one right now. See ya.